The security monitor showed someone standing directly behind me. I was alone in the house, and when I turned around, nothing was there. On the screen, he remained less than a foot from my back. That was the moment I realized the camera was not showing what was happening. It was showing what was about to happen. The security monitor turned on by itself at 2:17 a.m. I know the exact time because I was awake at my desk when the small screen on the kitchen wall flickered from black to a live feed of my driveway. I live alone in a rented house at the edge of town, and the security system came with the property. I never used it because nothing ever happens out here. The camera showed my driveway clearly, with my car parked in its usual place, the gate closed, and the porch light off. Then I saw someone standing near the front bumper, facing down toward the ground near my tires. The monitor had no sound, but I could see his shoulders moving slightly, as if he was breathing in a slow and controlled rhythm. He wore dark clothes and a baseball cap that hid his face. I checked the front window beside the monitor, and the driveway outside was completely empty. When I looked back at the screen, the figure was still there. I stepped closer to understand what I was seeing, and the feed showed nothing wrong. The timestamp in the corner read 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 32 seconds, and the figure slowly lifted his head and turned toward the camera. The image glitched briefly, and when it stabilized, he was standing closer to my driver door without having taken a visible step. I grabbed my phone and opened the security app to confirm the feed, and the image matched the monitor exactly. The figure remained beside my car, motionless. I walked to the front door and looked through the peephole, but the driveway outside was empty. I unlocked the door and stepped onto the porch, scanning the driveway carefully. My car sat alone, under still air, with no movement, no shadows, and no sound. Behind me, the monitor inside the house made a sharp clicking noise. When I turned back through the open doorway, the screen showed me standing on the porch, while the figure stood directly behind me in the feed, positioned less than a foot from my back. In reality, the porch behind me was empty. I stepped forward quickly and turned around, but there was nothing there. On the monitor, the figure did not move and remained behind the version of me on the screen, with his head slightly tilted. I backed into the house and shut the door, and the camera feed adjusted as I moved inside. The version of me on the screen entered the kitchen, and the figure followed one step behind. I forced myself to think logically and assumed the feed might be delayed, so I waited for it to correct. The version of me in the monitor stopped in the kitchen while I remained near the front door, and the figure stopped behind him. Then the version of me on the screen turned around and looked directly into the camera with a flat expression. He opened his mouth, and the monitor produced sound for the first time since I moved in. He calmly said that I had left the door open. I turned toward the front door and confirmed it was closed and locked with the deadbolt still in place. When I looked back at the monitor, the kitchen was empty, and the feed had switched to my bedroom. The bedroom door stood open. The bed was visible, and the closet door was slightly ajar as the timestamp changed to 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 3 seconds a.m. The closet door in the feed began opening slowly, even though I heard nothing from down the hallway. The version of me stepped out of the closet looking tired, with a wrinkled shirt and slightly disordered hair, and he held a phone in his hand. I looked down at my own hand and confirmed my phone was still there. The version of me in the bedroom raised the phone, examined it, and then looked up at the camera behind him. The dark interior of the closet shifted as the figure in the baseball cap stepped out and positioned himself directly behind that version of me. He raised both hands and placed them firmly on his shoulders. The bedroom camera shook slightly, and the screen went black for 2 seconds before returning to show an empty room with the timestamp reading 2 hours, 19 minutes, and 41 seconds a.m. The monitor flickered again and returned to the driveway view, where everything appeared normal with my car parked in place, the porch light off, and the gate closed. Then the driver door of my car opened, and someone stepped out. He matched my height and build, and wore the same jacket I had on. He closed the door and looked directly into the camera. Outside, I heard a car engine start for real, and headlights flashed through the front window. I moved toward the peephole and saw my car parked in the driveway with the engine running and the headlights on, but no one sat in the driver's seat behind me. The kitchen monitor clicked once more as my own voice came through the speaker, telling me to check the trunk. I did not turn around while the engine outside continued running, and then the car horn sounded once in a long, controlled note that did not stop.